about it.
Andy, give me a mic check.
Can you hear us?
Check. Can you hear me?
You can hear us?
Go again. Give me one more.
Check.
Okay.
That's a little better.
You're good there. And Blaine.
Mike. Mike. Who's Mike?
Turn it up, baby. No, I'm good.
Oh my God, this is gonna be bad with you two.
That was going to be so good.
Welcome to the SnoWest Show from our mountain snowmobiling headquarters in Idaho for over 45 years. Here's your host, Ryan Harris.
Welcome to the show. This is, I think we're on episode 3 here. We're just racking them up. Anyway, shot a great episode at Heydays with Blaine Mathews, Jay Mentaberry, Andy Thomas, and Keith Curtis. And they talk about Rimshaw, the course change at Jackson Hole, ways that these guys as racers can come up with of promoting the sport, growing the sport. You know, maybe we do a Triple Crown at Jackson. How do we find more venues that are like Jackson? How do we grow the sport? Moments of Jackson crashes. It's a good episode with those guys. But before we get into that, I want to introduce who we've got in studio today with us. Bruce Kerbs, representing the agriculture of America over here. I got to say you're Mr. Arctic Cat. You know, is that still fair to say?
Yeah, probably fair to say. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, yeah, you even got the Arctic Cat jacket on.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that jacket?
Some guy.
It's been rough times, man.
It's been really rough times. It's kind of like, I'm a Cowboys fan too, so
oh,
kind of getting hit at all angles,
That struck a chord with you too, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
All right, we got Bruce Kerbs. So, Bruce, you're on the SnoWest test staff. You've been coming to help us out with, we do in-season tests where we test whatever sleds we have as press units, test those against each other, compare track lengths, engine sizes, and just handling and all that. And you've helped us out at Snowshoot where we test the next year's sleds. And kind of the job there is to be a photo guy. You ride the sleds around for the pictures, but you go out and we spend a lot of time evaluating. And it's pretty fun, right? Having every snowmobile, every mountain sled that's coming out the next year, have them all together in one group and go ride.
Yeah.
Sometimes the snow conditions suck, but
Right, or it's cold.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
30 below.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a bit nippy.
it was a bit.
Nippy, this
Yeah.
last one. And then we have Justin Stevens coming back to help us with another show. Formerly marketing director at Motorfist Gear.
Right.
Formerly athlete manager, Motorfist Gear.
I did work with some of the athletes for a little while. It was a lot of fun.
I'm trying to throw some more titles at you.
I know. Titles are important.
Currently general contractor at Stevens Homes.
That's right. Yeah.
There we go. And we have Broc Genta. Broc, both of you and Justin and Broc have helped us with Snowshoot as well and all of our testing, one of our test riders, but you also come from Motorfist.
Yeah.
Right?
Motorfist.
Then what did you do there?
I was a district sales manager for both.
So you
For
went around,
Arctic
set
Cat
up dealerships
and for Motorfist, setting them up. For Motorfist, it was more regional. Went pretty much all over the country. Alaska, that was one of the cool ones I was able to do. Go to Alaska and go to the Iron Dog and follow that. So.
And then that led into the kind of the same job, but at Arctic Cat.
Yep, kind of led into the same job at Arctic Cat. And once I got the job at Arctic Cat, I kind of got kicked off the SnoWest test staff, so I haven't been able to.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't able to test there
about
for several years. I wasn't able to hang out with these guys, but last year I came back and here I am.
Yeah. No, and you tested that Skidoo. In the last 2 years, you've tested that Skidoo pretty hard.
It's been getting comfortable.
I don't know if you're just trying to still like figure it out and adapt and like pick up on the quirks, or if you're just like, yeah, that's my sled.
It's been a good sled. We'll just say that.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right. Before we get into this episode with these Rimshaw racers, we got a lot to talk about with those guys, but I want to say thank you to the crew at Fly Racing for sponsoring this episode of the SnoWest podcast. This is our third episode. We still do the magazine. We still do SnoWest magazine. We do YouTube channel, website, social media, e-blasts, like you name it in media. We're doing it. The podcast is relatively new for us. And Fly Racing, they've stepped up big and supported the podcast as we get this started. The 2023 Fly Racing snow gear, their lineup is out. They've made huge leaps forward with style and performance. You wore that Cobalt mono suit when it came out.
Yeah.
I want to say that was 2 Marches ago, not this last March, but the March before you rode that.
Yeah, I liked it. It's probably one of the first times I've put them on before, but that's actually the first time I've actually ridden in one. And I really enjoyed it. It was comfortable. I hadn't really worn a mono suit, so it was kind of my first experience with wearing one of those. I mean, at first you put it on, it's kind of different because you got the shoulder straps and stuff. But then once you get it all zipped up, you're like, man, this is comfortable.
Yeah, once
snow
you're
stays
in it.
out, and I was comfortable all day. It was great.
That was your first mono suit?
Yeah.
You were gone before we come out with the Motorfest one? You bounced?
I can't remember, honestly. I think we were just in production. I think I'd seen one, but I don't think I ever rode in one, because I didn't want to. I was kind of like, I don't want to wear a mono suit. But putting that one on, I was like, okay, now I understand why you'd want to wear a mono suit, especially snowmobiling.
Yeah.
Do you still wear one?
Nope.
All right.
Yeah, that's the funny part. Like now that you're buying your own gear, it's like, it's interesting to see what you go by.
Right. And I don't know. I don't know. Just I think gear is an interesting thing. It's very specific, but that is one of the fun things about being able to work and come test both gear, sleds, and other things. It's a rare opportunity. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I'd like to try, but it is expensive, and it's hard to buy a $600, $700, $800 suit just to see if you like it. So.
Oh, it is, yeah.
So
yeah,
it's
too bad
kind of fun.
Too bad you can't demo sled gear.
Yeah.
Like you can't. Well, you can't even demo snowmobiles anymore.
No.
They need to bring that back.
I think so.
Fly Racing has 6 gear lines, including our favorite, which is the Cobalt mono suit. I've been wearing that for 2.5 years now since they came out with the prototype. It's just a shell. What I like about it is it's just a shell and it fits really well. It's not too short in the torso and too short in the legs and sleeve and everything. It's just got a great fit to it. They also have a snow bike version that has leg protection for the exhaust pipes on the inside of your legs, inside of your knees, and they have an insulated version. I haven't tried that yet. That's probably right up your alley, farmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fit on these is great. They're not too baggy, not too tight. Fly Racing has a huge product line range with base layers, their inversion boots, the Formula helmet, Zone Pro goggle, and a whole bunch of gloves to choose from, including heated gloves, which this last snowshoot, when it was 30 below, like we were rolling into
Yeah, where were
camp,
those?
I had them on. They were great.
Nice.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you guys were. Everybody's like complaining about how cold it was, and it wasn't too bad.
That's pretty cool. I was just thinking about that when you said that. I'm like, we have the hand warmers, but your hands aren't always on the hand warmers when you're riding. We've got fingers off for brakes, different things, even the ones that kind of hang down. Maybe the glove is the solution.
But the thing on the hand warmer is like on a 30 below day like that, you're only warming your palm, and you can still freeze the backside.
Right.
So the heated gloves kind of help out with that. But they're big. Like there's a lot of material there.
Yeah.
And they're not cheap either.
Right.
I think Fly Racing probably has the best deal going out there, but you can get heated gloves from a lot of companies now.
Nice.
Check out flyracing.com, has everything you need, and at Fly Racing Snow on social media. If you have any questions or any feedback on the SnoWest Show podcast, shoot us an email at podcast@snowwest.com. Okay, so we'll jump into this show. We shot this at Heydays. It's a great episode. We talk about rim shot. We talk about course changes at Jackson. We talk about just snowmobile rides that they've had together and some carnage on the mountain. But thanks for listening and enjoy the rest of the show. Hey, what's up, everybody? Ryan Harris with the SnoWest podcast. I keep wanting to say Ryan Harris with SnoWest Magazine. We still do the magazine. Go to snowwest.com and subscribe. Check out our merchandise. The magazine is the best place to get sled reviews, news on the industry, what's happening. Follow us on social media. We're here at Heydays. We did the live broadcast on Instagram of Arctic Cat's reveal with their new platform. Don't have a cat guy here, do we?
Nope.
Yeah.
So
there's not many of them around anymore.
well, there's a couple. There's 4.
There was a lot in the autograph signing. There was a good line.
They've got a lot of
Snowcrossers.
racers. They're getting back to that. Which is good.
Good. No,
So anyway,
that's awesome.
SnoWest podcast. This is a new thing we're doing, and I can't thank you guys enough for coming on here. This is going to be a fun show.
This is, yeah.
So we have Jay Mentaberry, the one and only. Jay Mentaberry 411.
Thank goodness there's only one.
Thank goodness there's only one.
Yeah.
Hey.
Rim Shop Pro
world can't
Racer,
handle that
Skidoo
much.
Ambassador, Backcountry Rider, Keith Curtis, Also, the one and only Keith Curtis.
Thank God.
Good to be here.
Yeah, that's what we should be thankful.
The GOAT.
Yeah.
Like it's you and Eli Tomac. like 8-time. He's 8-time Daytona winner. You're 8-time King of Kings.
7.
7?
Yep. Try to keep it real. Keep
Yeah.
on hammering.
Thanks.
Only 7 of those.
Yeah. Just
Took a long
Okay,
time to get there.
So
We'll get into
did I
that.
screw up with Eli then? Is Eli 8 times Daytona or 7?
Oh,
I think he's.
I don't remember.
he wins
7
a
or
lot.
8, yeah.
They both win a lot.
For
Keith
some
wins more
reason, I
than
put
him.
you two together in a class there. But anyway, the GOAT. And you guys are all like, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, we're like,
Yeah.
we hate Keith.
And Andy Thomas, factory Polaris hill climb racer, Polaris ambassador. Keith, also I didn't really give you that too. Factory Polaris hill climber, factory Sherco hard enduro.
Yeah, Factory 1 Churco, USA,
Yep.
hard enduro racer.
Eli doesn't have 2 factories.
No.
It's
pretty cool.
there you go. That's
Pretty
that's
fun.
true. Yeah, you can't jump into too many sports. Blaine Mathews, pro rodeo.
Yep. Rodeo guy.
You wild
You got the
animal.
belt buckles.
A few of those.
Oh yeah.
Got a stack of them.
And he's a roper now. He's been roping.
Yeah. I'm getting old, so I'm starting to rope.
So well, you do bareback, right?
Saddle bronc.
Saddle.
Yep.
Dude, I watched some of that
When did
for
you
the.
get into roping?
What's
been-
that?
When did you get into roping?
I mean, I've always roped, but.
Are you competing now though?
Yeah, and I've always competed as well. Like a lot of small jackpots, close rodeos, local rodeos we do. But I kind of ventured out a little bit more, and I'm not traveling down the road roping, but trying to rope a little bit more. It's a little more easier on the body, I guess you
Yeah.
could say. So.
You're doing pretty good at it, aren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been winning some money. Usually I just donate. But this year I've been winning some money there, so it's nice.
Yeah.
Are you doing saddle bronc also?
Yeah, I'm still getting on bucking horses, and I'll get on bucking horses for a while, I'm sure. But it's nicer on the body. I haven't hit it hard this summer, and it's been pretty nice. I actually feel really good coming into the fall. So, big change for me.
All right. So another Skidoo factory sponsored or factory hill climb racer, Skidoo ambassador.
Yep.
Lots of things, lots of titles. Like you guys need. I'm surprised nobody's brought out business cards yet.
We should get some giant name tags with just a list of
Yeah,
titles.
list of.
Our credentials.
So all right, let's jump into this. This is what I wanted to talk to you guys about. We had a course change at Jackson this last year, and fortunately So what happened, right? They screwed up on the gondola height going up exhibition run.
Yeah.
And the gondola hangs down too low. Like, I'm telling you guys something that you know more about than I do.
So first of all, they use the existing poles, right, for the normal lift, and then the gondola hangs down further than the normal chair.
Yeah, and it's like 10 feet off the ground in one spot or 13 feet.
Yeah, it's pretty close to the ground in a few spots. Whatever it is, they're supposed to lift it up 2 foot or something, I think. But, the biggest worry as far as something hitting the gondola wasn't necessarily the height, but it was the road. If the sled got away up there in that big road that's like where kind of the third catwalk was, they say if one got on its feet and the timing was right, a sled would head into, jumped off the road right into a cart.
Yeah.
Epic footage.
Because the road's big enough, I guess 2 groomers can fit side by side on it.
Yeah.
It's huge.
So they put a
Very big.
huge road in right below the rock garden.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
It's going to come off the top of the cat track and jump into the gondola.
Well,
That's what they think.
like a 1 in a million odds, but
Let's
odds
put a
are
fence
there.
up right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But it could have. So this is all based on something that could happen.
right.
Yep.
Bunch of superstition.
Like highly unlikely.
Yeah.
So, but then they went over and they changed Cougar, and they made that go all the way to the top, like cut out trees and extended that run.
Yeah.
Did they do that for the hill climb?
Well, no, it's supposed to. I mean, they did it obviously for this. It's a ski run.
Yeah.
It benefited us because we thankfully had the race still. But
Yeah.
they literally, it was just solid trees before the upper hill was
Yeah.
there, and
Straight trees.
now
like
it's just solid stumps.
they cut
Wolverine or Cougar?
thousands. The one we raced up.
Yeah, whatever
It's
that one was.
Wolverine.
It's Cougar at the bottom, yeah, and then
Oh,
the,
yeah,
the
yeah,
new
you're
the new
right.
portion is Wolverine, but
You're
yeah,
right.
it's Cougar up the bottom.
They cut thousands of trees.
Lots
Insane.
of trees.
I mean, regardless, Jackson's still Jackson.
Yeah.
It's still
Yeah.
way better hill and way better accommodations, way better show, no matter compared to all the other venues, right?
No comparison.
But
yeah, it's still
I mean,
good.
exhibition is still like another grade up from Wolverine.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
absolutely.
feel like when you got to the top of the exhibition, you were like, man, even if you didn't win, you're like, I
Holy
just
shit.
accomplished something
Yeah.
getting up that.
Yeah. And to
So-
your point, Keith,
Sorry, go ahead.
people probably want to know or wondering what we thought of the new run. Like
Yeah,
versus-
that's what I want to get into.
Which, like you said, it's still Jackson.
Still a beast
It
in
was
some
still
way.
hard, like gnarly, pretty gnarly. Still fun and a good show. So we were okay with it, especially considering having the race, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's ultimately what matters. Like, as long as we can keep racing in Jackson, that's what we got to keep.
In a perfect world, we want to be back over on the older run, but we still had fun. It still took good training and.
It was a longer run too.
yeah, for sure.
So it made it a little bit longer because we actually went up the bottom part like normal, up exhibition, then we cut over and went up, which actually added some time to the run.
Yeah.
And we had a lot bigger side hills across the run all the way
was
to the
wider.
top.
Which was fun.
So was it a
Which
more
was
technical
pretty-
course?
In a side hilling aspect.
Yeah, but the snow was softer too. So, I mean, if it would have been icy, it would have been way.
They wouldn't have been able to put the big side hills in.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
Yeah.
that being said, it was icy in the morning.
Yeah, it
It was, yeah, it was slick.
So really, I guess they did.
like 2 classes.
Yeah.
Didn't get to
It
the
still
top
had
for a
some
while.
traction though.
But then they had stumps. That was my biggest complaint
Stumps
about
like
it. Because
that
like
big?
Slash piles too, man.
Yeah, didn't they leave the logs on the
They
hill?
left a
Like
lot of the logs
up there.
Aaron Buchelman was coming down their turn lane, and he got a log stuck at his track, and he endoed.
Yeah,
coming
that's
off
cool.
the
The
mountain.
return lane was the gnarliest part
Yeah,
of it.
that
Yeah,
was almost
coming-
harder going down that than going
Dude, it was so scary. I was like,
so
I'm going to
scary.
total a snowmobile.
Every
I'm going to
time,
total a
for
snowmobile.
sure. It was nuts. I'm like, we're still going down this?
Yeah.
it's
How
so
is
hard on our
this legal?
sleds too.
And the ruts,
Oh, yeah.
because we
Yeah.
had ski brakes on, so the ruts were like, and then,
Right into shit.
That will change
Yeah.
next year no matter what.
I'm
I'm
sure.
sure.
I think they just
that was wild. Some of my hardest wrecks racing have been coming down off the mountain. Nobody's seen them.
I think they'll have a lot of that cleaned up because I think there was so much rush last year. They were just trying to
Yeah.
get the hill
Yeah.
done.
They got a lot
obviously
done.
Still not complete, but I'll bet they cleaned that up this summer. Hopefully, at least the return lane, because my goodness.
Or at least the ones that are like sticking out at you as you're going
Yeah.
up the hill.
And they need to cut out the stumps. I mean, that's not part of like snowmobile racing. That's,
Some of those stumps were 3 feet tall.
yeah, if you grab a ski or something, that just wrecks the sled, wrecks
yeah.
the day, wrecks you.
Yeah.
So hopefully they fix that.
That's not why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
So are you guys? Is that the plan that you'll be on Wolverine again this year?
I imagine so.
Probably.
Yeah.
But
And
I
is
know
there a long-term plan to move it back to exhibition?
Oh, absolutely. I think what I've talked to Snow Devils, they really want it back on the main course. Like they all asked a lot of the racers even last year at the race, what do you guys think? And everybody's, well, I mean, it's Jackson. It's still gnarly, but
Yeah.
that hill over there is just insane.
Happy to be here, but
And I
we
think
could go over there. Let's
if
do
we
it.
could race back in exhibition, like just looking how much wider it is now, there's
Yeah.
so much opportunity. I think we could stay in the snow, so it would be better.
Yeah.
Like that's another worry, the rocks hitting gondola cars or whatever. I don't think that's necessarily so much of a worry now. I mean, there's still going to be some shit flying around, but
yeah, but now we don't have to be directly under the
Yeah.
lift at all. You guys remember taking the gondola up, and it's
Yeah,
completely
it's a lot
different
wider.
view, way wider.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we
it
can go
got-
way to the left or way to the right.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's what me and Keith were talking about.
You
We could move the
totally
course.
mitigate it to.
I think there's a way to make it happen.
Oh, for sure.
When you said they want to lift up a pole, is that something the
Yeah, I
Devils
think
are actually
that's
talking about doing?
well, the
Snow King?
The Snow King, I think they have to. Like there was something. It was a screw up.
aside from the
Yeah.
the race.
Because it's a problem with skiing too.
Right.
They're worried about
Something.
that same problem happening
Yeah,
with skier.
big
Something
snow year.
comes
Now
off
the
that.
gondolas
Or,
dragging
yeah,
the
if it-
ground or something.
Yeah.
There's a bunch, and they're putting snow guns on that hill too.
Oh, right.
They did that this summer. They laid water pipe all the way up that son of a bee.
So yeah, you build up the snow level.
Yeah,
It's going to be an
it's
issue.
gonna-
So
yeah.
they get that fixed. So here's my genius idea, because this is all I'm good for. I come up with ideas, and I just throw them out there. What if you guys qualified on Wolverine?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Sunday you went up.
No, that's
exhibition?
definitely
Yeah.
an option. I would think.
We talked about that. Keith
That's what
and I
I'd
did.
love to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Instead of that
what needs to happen.
frozen,
Yeah.
We need to
speed
be back
race,
on Wolverine.
But if your qualifier was all the way to the top
Exhibition.
too,
But if
Exactly,
we
yeah.
could qualify
Yeah.
to the top,
Yeah.
I hate qualifying at Jackson.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's
why-
It's
tough.
gnarly.
but it's not like fun. It's not fun riding. It's just like
Yeah, it's flat.
it's flat,
Corner.
hard.
Oh, yeah.
Like
It's tough.
It's a difficult.
You're talking
go-kart.
stock and improved.
Yes,
we should,
yes,
we
sorry.
should qualify
Yeah.
to the top.
yeah,
Yeah, because
That
a
would be fun.
short tracker can go win qualifying,
Exactly.
and they won't even make it to the.
exactly.
But they're
a
never going to be
little
able to
ways.
shuffle out everyone through.
No,
well,
yeah.
pick
That's a
a
time
few
problem.
classes, some premier classes.
You could pick some, certain classes.
And
Yeah.
then those classes grow and
Yeah, it
stomps.
becomes more of an event, like a main event type
Yeah.
deal instead of
Yeah.
All,
right, so-
all these jumbled
Well, you guys are
classes.
jumping into another problem that I've thought's a problem with.
There's a lot of
Rim shop
problems.
for a long time.
Yeah.
Too many damn classes.
Yes.
There's a lot of classes.
This is a daily conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
too
got to
many
drop
classes.
down to a pro class, maybe 3 pro classes.
Yeah.
And then
Per
keep
division.
running. I don't know. How many does it need to be, Keith?
Well, I think they probably need to drop 6s at this point.
Yeah.
At least.
I was in that class for a long time, but I mean, none of them. Does Skidoo make 6?
They still have a 600 summit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Arctic
Can you
Cat
still
just
run
got a
5
brand new-
classes or 4?
5.
5.
So there should be 5 classes. Because I want to, as a fan, as a spectator, I
Right.
want to see you race you and you and you. I
Yeah.
want to see
Yeah.
all of you guys race each other in the same class every run.
Yep.
Yep. And that's how I feel like Rimshaw's mindset hasn't come around that. You know, they can't understand, like, they're trying to make it happy for everybody, but they got to realize in the end they got to benefit themselves and create a show, create
Yeah.
something exciting,
Yeah.
you know, gnarly. That's what people want to see. Yeah, I know the juniors or this or that. They, cater to them, find a way to cater to them, but ultimately make it a main event
Yeah.
style thing, and people are going to start coming and watching. We're going to get better venues.
Yeah.
you know.
They just bring in a lot of money. Those lower classes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
that's what it's
lot of
about.
people. So they kind of support the circuit. So we need to figure out how to get bigger sponsors in there, or figure out how to make money, because we can't just get rid of those smaller classes and have those guys quit. Cause,
No.
They're the
Yeah.
future.
They
But
are.
Well, and they're
They're the
they're
funds.
supporting our paychecks.
Grimshaw should be
Yep.
funding it elsewhere, not relying on that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's never going to grow. It's never going to gain traction how
Yeah.
it is.
Really, what it comes down to is Rimshot finding more and more corporate sponsors to be on
Yeah.
board to
Yep.
help pay the
Well,
racers and the association. and-
Doing a better job of producing content. That's
Which-
that's what people want to pay for.
And
you
I feel
you
like-
put numbers up, and you'll have big companies wanting to get involved.
Yeah.
That's how Supercross, motocross works. It's how it works.
That brings me to my next topic. I don't want to
Are we
change
going
the
too
topic
fast?
here.
Just keep going.
But
Did you remember your
so the Hard Enduro series, they have recap videos
Yeah.
of each race. Did you guys
video
watch those?
Content.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's awesome.
that the
like
series
20.
produces, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean they had someone come in.
But it's on
this
behalf
year.
of
Sky Media Pixel.
Yeah.
Him. There's 2 people that came in, a couple, and they made recap videos for every single race, which was awesome. It gave a really good recap of the entire race, 20 minutes long. People could go watch the hardcore action and a little behind the scenes too. So you get behind the scenes, talking to the racers, interviewing the racers. You get some great action recap, and in the end, it turns out great. And there's good exposure for the event itself. And I think that's what needs to happen for
Exactly.
Rimshaw.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So how do we get there?
Get Sky Pixel Media on board with Rimshaw, which I've been trying. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. There's a lot that we want to be better, but it has gotten better the last few years with the live streaming, and it's still strong. There's just a lot that we're all interested in now to make it grow.
Yeah.
Yep.
It takes a lot of effort, and that's the thing, getting everybody on board is the hard part. 'Cause there is so many people involved in Rimshaw that, the 1 week link, whatever it may be, until they get on board with something great, you're just going to be kind of stagnant.
Yeah, and I don't want to see her back on Rimshaw. I mean, it's been a great organization.
Really has.
But Jackson is basically this industry's like Erzberg.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
it's the pinnacle
biggest
race.
single event that we have.
Yep.
But it could be so much more.
Yeah. We could have a whole series that's
Yeah.
pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
We got a couple new venues this year,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, we do. Donner.
So,
Over by Donner?
not Donner. So we're south of Tahoe. It's called.
Is it where Sledfest is?
It's 2 hours south of Tahoe. It'll come to me here in a minute. But we got another one in Colorado too,
Right on.
and possibly Lookout Mountain. So at least we got some new venues on board.
Look out
Cool.
south of Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That would
East.
be cool. They get a lot of snow.
Yep. Yep. And then the other one in Colorado, I think will be pretty good too. Copper or something,
Oh, yeah.
possibly.
By Brant's.
Yep.
Yeah. I think they're in talks with them anyways. I don't think that one's totally nailed down yet.
That's good though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Rimshaw needs more courses, better courses, and more spectator to grow that circuit.
Yeah.
But then you've also got Jackson that's kind of on its island. And
Yeah.
Well,
between the
ideally-
two, because it's 2 different organizations, and Jackson's a Rimshaw sanctioned event,
Yeah.
but Jackson is Jackson.
Yeah, it is. It's run by their own group association, essentially. You look at it, it's an invitation race, really.
Yeah, it's an invitational.
But
And that being said, like if anyone's listening and they like know of any really good quality world-class venues, reach out to Rimshaw. Like there's a lot of ski areas out there, and if ideally Rimshaw needs to have more Jacksons, we all know that.
Yeah, we need
and
a
if we
circuit
can
of Jacksons.
If we can be close to these different demographics with bigger cities and ski areas close by, get a big attendance and a nice gnarly venue to put on a good show, that's what it's all about.
That would help.
Is there any chance you could do like a Triple Crown at Jackson? 3 weekends after the ski season is over. 3 consecutive weekends.
Maybe with
of
the
Jackson.
new run, we could.
And then the last one is the Invitational event.
Yeah.
So
See,
the first 2 are scaled down. They're just, you got to qualify. It's just like their top 10 in points, top 10 points.
And I think you could have that. You know, Snow Devils at the end of the weekend, you know, they're done. They're so excited Jackson's over when it's over because, I mean, they do
all
put
the work.
Yeah, all the work. But if we could get Rimshaw to where it wasn't so like spread out and kind of looking wild almost, I think it would be easy for them to say, hey, you know, we got 3 classes, like a Triple Crown series in Jackson, and then they could do it. They have the time. It doesn't take so much effort for them, and they get better results essentially. You know, I have Triple Crown, 3 big weekends in Jackson. Maybe the town doesn't go for it. That's another hindrance of the race. You know, if you really want to get into it, I mean, we're dealing with these crazy times in the country, and Jackson is kind of its own animal as far as that stuff, and they think they have a big battle there every year with that.
Yeah, and I don't think people realize like how close last year could have just got canceled.
Yeah.
Like that was probably the solution the town was pushing for. Was like, well, they can't run on that course, let's just cancel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then now you start building this momentum of like, oh, it got canceled in 20, gets canceled here.
Yeah.
Like that would be.
We can't have that.
No.
There was no such thing as Jackson getting canceled. Then COVID showed up. They canceled it once, and now it's like
They have
super easy.
leverage.
Now they're like, oh, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, the town needs the revenue. I think they hurt really bad that first year. After that, you know, they found some other sources, but at the same time, we kind of lost momentum with that happening.
Yeah.
So I want to hear some of your guys' experiences at Jackson, because that's like the pinnacle event, right? I know you like. I remember being on the hill. We talked about this up at your shop last year. Was it the 08 season?
Yeah.
The Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
When you went up and you won all of your classes, then you ran all of your king runs, won all of those, and then went up and you basically just swept.
So 08 I didn't. 08 I won. I think I won 6 stock. So that was my first year on Polaris too.
Yeah.
So first year on the factory team, you know, amazing year. You guys have all felt that. The first year you get on the factory team, it's like, all right, did it. So, you know, you're trying to achieve results no matter what, but especially that year. And I won 6 stock, 7 stock, 8 stock on 3 different sleds. And then but I was only racing stock division. So I had 3 chances to win Stock King.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
So I won Stock King, and then how Jackson works, well, how all the races, well, just Jackson, I guess. Stock King, Improved King, and Modified King race against each other for King of Kings. So I was racing against Les Keller and Kyle Tapio. Les Keller had won Improved King, and then Kyle Tapio had won Modified King. Most of the time, a stock sled doesn't win King of Kings because horsepower, you know?
Yeah.
But that year was like super technical and deep and gnarly, and the ruts were just super intense, and bounced my way through the rock garden and made my way to the top, and I was just sitting up there and watched Les Keller come up, and he got stuck right in the rock garden. And I was like, oh, there's one. And then Kyle came up and just stuffed it right into a bank as well. I was like,
Man,
just did it.
That's epic.
Yeah.
That was epic. Cool. Yeah, something that still gives you goosebumps, you know.
Yeah.
15 years down the road.
Yeah.
pretty cool.
That was back in your long hair days.
Yeah, I had some long hair.
You did.
Long hair.
So what about you, Jay?
Best
Jackson.
moment or
what do you?
overall?
Yeah, give me a good event at Jackson. Not necessarily performance, just.
Oh, just the vibe.
memorable
Like it finally feels like we're going to a race and it's a big deal. Obviously, you treat all the races as a big deal, but the atmosphere at Jackson is
really bring
The vibe is
hype.
good.
you feel, I don't know, feel like you're in the spotlight. So it's a double-edged sword because there's more eyes on you, more pressure. But
It creates a lot more want.
yeah,
You're like, man, I really want this now.
Yeah.
You start the season, you know, you're motivated, the morale's good, and it's good. It maintains really high level of that. But when you get to Jackson, there's just something about it. Like all of a sudden, you're like twice motivated now.
Yeah.
The people and the vibes.
Yep.
yeah, and
what
the
it
hill,
is.
you know, like
And
it's
hill.
very challenging.
Yeah.
The other ones are not. It's more of a speed race. Jackson's like you got to
Yeah.
ride.
There's
You gotta
more
ride.
risk. Good reward at Jackson.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's been your best year there?
I have two that stick out to me. In 2014, I think we all had a good semi-pro year, but in my final runs, I was flawless. Like some of the best runs I ever had. It was so much fun going up through the top. First time I'd ever tried going up through the top, and it seemed so easy just because I was riding so well. I'll never forget it. I won by 2014.
This was a good snow year too.
Yeah, good snow year. I won my classes by 5-10 seconds. Like it would just seem so easy to me, and it had a blast.
Yeah.
And then 2017, when Justin won King of Kings, I had a great year that year too on my 600 mod. Like some of my runs on that sled and 6 and 7 mod were just like I was floating.
Yeah.
And so those runs stick out to me.
Yeah.
Well, and you and your brother had some good runs this last year too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Every year at Jackson, I'm like, holy crap, this is so cool. Like, it's awesome. But yeah, seeing my little brother kick butt made me cry this last year. He won 3 classes, and it's become a little bit of a family deal for me having my brothers in there, and I love it. So
something cool to mention too, like we've had more and more factory support. You guys had, Skidoo step on board a lot more over the last few years, and Polaris has been stepping on board for several years now and helping out. Back in 08, engineers helped out a bit, and marketing was there a bit, but now they're just much more involved and integrated
the whole
into the program.
industry's
So it's pretty cool. Our sleds are on point and just dialed.
Yeah, I feel like the last 5 years you'd go over to at heydays you'd go over to the Polaris tent, and it'd be separated a little bit, like the athletes, the backcountry athletes and the racers. It didn't really, at least for me, maybe I was just coming into it, but now we go over there and it's like we know all the marketing people, we know all the racers, and it's way more combined and a lot of support coming from everywhere.
From all the racers always helped with engineering kind of in the background.
Yeah.
But marketing never got involved. And it's you guys are doing so much on this hill that you could be marketing, but it's like, no, they're not part of our team.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of changing a little bit.
That mentality's totally shifted.
Yeah.
I think that started happening in 2013, if I remember right. Summer 2013, 14 areas when marketing really started. Like, we can utilize this.
Yeah. This guy wins everything.
Won how much?
Yeah.
It's been pretty.
Who's that? Keith, man. Keith won everything. All right, let's make a shirt. We should make a shirt that has like every class on it. Yep.
Easy to market that. Yeah, Skidoo has like 100-fold over the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's really cool.
So what is a points championship or even a world championship at Jackson? What does that mean to the guys the guys that are your bosses?
Bragging rights, confirmation in their equipment and their work, like the engineers love it, especially because they build this snowmobile and tune it and pour their hearts and souls into it, and then it goes and wins a prestigious event. Like, who wouldn't love that?
It seems a little different than like Supercross, because Supercross, the guys change teams all the time.
Yeah.
So it's the rider, and you could be on any brand pretty much.
Yeah.
And the way they build the bikes, like, Eli obviously proved he can win on multiple brands.
Yeah.
But it seems like in Rimshaw, like if your sled has a points championship or a king or king of kings, like that's legitimacy that sled can last through that and can perform that way.
Validation.
I mean, the rider for sure, like the rider is a huge part of that, but it seems like there's a little more on the equipment side and the setup side on that.
Yeah.
Versus motocross.
I think Keith changed that aspect though. I think it used to be fastest sled, you're going to win. Then Keith started one-legging, and I think Rick Ward did a little too, didn't he? Or did you kind of start that?
I don't really remember Rick hanging a leg, but it just came natural.
And then it kind of became like the rider's got to be in shape and be mentally there. You can't just show up with a fast sled and win. You got to be on your game. That's definitely evolved in the last.
It's like the
10 years.
Combined now.
Got to have a well-rounded regimen.
You have to have a fast snowmobile, but you have to have fast mind, good body,
be able to ride it.
Be able to ride it.
Part of that kind of evolved as the sleds evolved. Right?
Yeah.
Now you're putting gates in places where you're making you guys turn in the finals rather than just the straight shot up.
Yeah.
Where
It's technical.
kind of drift and hit the gates.
These sleds are so capable anymore.
That's the technology's made it.
So now you got to slow your runtime down by moving gates clear over here, and you got to have some serious turns. But watching you guys hang out on those turns, like just laying, and you're on a flipping edge
in the ice,
on ice, on rocks, on stumps.
Dirt. Yeah, there's so many times we're like full boost pinned like side hill and dirt.
Yeah.
How about
into a wall or a log?
How about the one section this last year on Wolverine, the side hill above the rock cliff?
Yeah, that was gnarly.
That was
gnarly.
wild.
Pretty rowdy. I mean, you're side hilling across, and then at the edge, it was like all washed out.
Yeah.
So you land, skid down, and then get going again. And
Yeah,
I mean, it was pretty rowdy right there.
it
Yeah, it
was,
was.
man.
How's that compared to Rock Garden on exhibition?
Well, the difference was the rock garden, usually you're trying to hit it going straight up.
Or like a slight angle.
Yeah.
And those rocks on the rock garden, they're like 3 feet out of the ground.
They're big.
Huge.
They're huge. So if your skis aren't up, then you can stare at them. You'll see Kyle Tapio, some of his videos. He might be the best at just like wheeling through them. You know, there's so many videos of him just through the rock garden.
Which is sketchy. Sleds and rocks don't really go together very well, you know?
You get up in there and you're the one wheeling through them, and it's like just ping ponging.
Pretty
And
violent feeling,
Yeah.
really.
I mean, yeah, as a spectator, even like being able to see the course from the chairlift, because that's probably the closest you're going to get to it.
yeah.
But when you're on the side of the course behind that snow fence, you can't really see how big those rocks
Can't
are.
see
You
the
get a little
holes, yeah.
perspective, but yeah, you can't see the holes. You can't see what your guys are in the line and hitting.
If someone goes to Jackson, they need to walk by the hill
the
and side of the hill, or ideally go be hill help, like
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
a front view perspective of what's happening.
Yeah.
Be ready for some action then, but no matter what, you need to ride the lift up and down to like get a better perspective.
For sure. It's such an animal up there. And that's the thing. Like, we go to these other races, like Afton, for example. It's brutal because there's just so much stuff on the hill. Stumps, rocks, and like weird rock, too, like shelly rock. So when something pops out, it just grabs you. And we get going pretty fast in Afton.
Tree
and then
roots, stumps.
You're just blazing through this stuff, One time I didn't blaze through it. I almost died. But
I remember that.
that was pretty violent. That one hurt.
What happened on that one?
Well, we were it was one of those days where we kind of got behind on time, and so they were trying to speed the day up, and the course got pretty straight, which even Afton's being straightened up on Sunday, like the hill's just trashed. Like,
It's still
stuff-
sketchy going straight.
Yeah.
And they opened it up to where we got to mod class, 9 mod, like 8 stock was getting pretty rowdy because we were just pinned pretty much from the starting lights to the finish lights, and you were just avoiding stuff, bouncing off stuff, and we got to 8 mod, and I think I was like towards the front of the class. Or no, I think I was towards the end because you went and had a heater run, and I'm like, man, the only way to beat him is literally don't lift the throttle. You have to just keep it pinned. And there was one spot, there was a little kind of a cat track, and everyone was kind of like letting off, rolling through that. I thought, man, if I just keep it tapped and skip the cat track, that's the only place I can make up time, minus, make a mistake or something. But so I did. I kept it pinned, and I caught a stump kind of funky, and it just kicked me, and I skipped up the hill, and my skis just clipped one. Didn't like hit it straight on, but just turned my bars, and it just sent me flying, and I went into a stump myself, like going very fast.
Yeah.
And knocked me out, I had like 3 fractures in my scapula, and then 1 mild displacement break. But I was pretty loopy for like a full day. Like I didn't really know where I was at.
I bet.
That whole day I went to the hospital over it. I was pretty messed up. But that was one of my gnarliest crashes I think we've ever had, was that. And I have it on GoPro somewhere, and I need to find it because it is insane.
Yeah,
on
you
GoPro.
should dig that up. That'd be a good
It's pretty gnarly. You can pause it, and there's pictures, like Ryan was taking pictures of the race, and I'm flying through the air, and you can see me looking at the stump. So I still can see it perfectly in my memory.
Oh, no.
Because there's just 2-foot stump sticking up, and I'm looking at it, flying through the air, and last second I just tucked and hit it because there was no way to go around it. In the GoPro, you can pause it, and you can see the exact moment of the photos he took where I'm just almost meeting the stump. I don't know how fast I was going, but it hurt.
Real fast.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Have you wadded one up pretty good, Andy, on a hill?
I've been fairly fortunate. I've watered it up in the backcountry, but
You've lost a sled, though. haven't you?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That was.
Yeah, I had a sled burned down on me right at the rock garden. It was
Steepest
so
part.
icy. It was so icy that morning, and my sled burned down, and she went back down the hill really fast.
Violent.
There was several sleds.
Endoing, rolling.
Endoing, like catching 15 feet of air. Like it probably could have hit the gondola that year because it was just like.
That's probably the video.
Oh yeah, and then
if this happens again, we're screwed.
Yeah, they were like, "Hey, remember this?"
I was upset. I was like, "Why are we? We had wrecked like $500,000 in snowmobiles," and I'm like, "Come on, let's change something a little bit."
Yeah.
But the hill was just gnarly. It rained the night before, and then it froze, and that was one of those deals where my sled was so messed up. I was so fired up, like so upset. That was baby, my snowmobile. And
Unicorn.
yeah, and I get down to the catwalk where we put our ski brakes on to go down, and I'm like, I don't need ski brakes, I'm fine. Those things aren't going to do a thing. This thing doesn't even run. So I start going, and pretty soon I'm end over end again on the return lane. No. And I felt like such an idiot, but that wreck was almost just as bad as the one I had, except I was like tangled into the sled. I was trying to get away and just sliding. Luckily, my sled was upside down and the handlebars dug into some ruts, but
I felt so bad for you watching that.
Yeah.
It was like watching a catastrophe, like almost a death happen in front of you.
Yeah.
You know,
So much
It was
work
crazy.
and time
Yeah,
and money.
it
And then later on in 8 stock, I totaled another sled. So between Jackson and the next race, I had to build a 600 mod and build a new 8 stalker. I bought 2 new sleds. Just blew all my money trying to keep racing.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
tough.
man. So, Jay, like, what kind of input do they let you guys have on the course? Like, if you're telling them, like, that gate's got to move, like, are they listening?
Yeah. Especially
gotten
if
a
it
lot
comes
better.
to safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
Like,
they probably don't care about your sleds. I mean, they've got that fine line of, like, we got to provide a show. Like,
Carnage.
we want that to happen every now and then. You know, not necessarily a lot, but
They're not like hoping someone goes and crashes, but they want to make it gnarly in a sense.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
ultimately, the carnage. A lot of those people, especially on the hill, that's why they're up there.
Yeah.
You know, when they're standing there and a sled goes by, they're like, "This is insane." 'Cause
And if
they're looking at us like
yeah.
we're crazy. Like, look at these guys. They're just tomahawking, a $50,000 sled down the mountain.
Yeah,
well, I mean, they're saving the rock garden for Sunday, and they're sending you right through the middle of it.
right
Yeah.
through the middle. And if a sled's tomahawking, that means it's tough.
Yeah.
Because they know.
Yeah. I can't wait till we have another good snow year at Jackson.
yeah.
Oh,
Man, we need
man.
it. We're
So
good.
nice when we have a nice deep snow year. The ruts are so deep, and it
The
just makes
walls.
it more technical.
Yeah.
And more technical in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not with stumps and rock.
Right.
But
That's the kind of show I think we all want to put on is
Yeah.
not wrecking and riding through stuff that's just dumb, but
Yeah.
a sick, fast run, that's a good show.
Yeah.
I was
And
thinking about
competition, like, holy shit, he just beat him by .001.
Yeah. I was thinking about the venue in California. It's Bear Valley, and that's south of Tahoe, 2 hours. So that's going to be our new season ender this year.
Yeah.
And they already have an existing event there. We're going to piggyback off them.
Oh.
They're going to piggyback off us too. So it'll be a great event.
Yeah,
Good
that's
season
what we
ender.
need. Something like that for sure.
Yeah.
So aside from Jackson, like, what has been the best course, like, over the last, like, 15 years? Like, what's been the best race you guys have done?
Well, that's tough.
Lost Trail?
Lost Trail's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Especially the
Premiere run.
premiere run.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
that
was
was good.
so cool.
That was fun.
That was rad.
But they're not even doing premiere stuff anymore. I mean, as far as like a specific premiere race.
Yeah.
No.
That
But
would've
it
been
was
fun.
It was sick because we like side hilled up through the rock cliff and side hilled
Trees.
above the cliff and through the trees.
Yeah.
And that
It was like a
the deepest
backcountry
part of the
hike.
run.
That would have
Yeah.
been a cool one to run like
Yep.
all of our mods through, like 6, 7, 9 open. Because
True.
if we could have gotten gnarly in there, some good ruts.
Oh man,
The downhill would
We
have
were like going through cliffs, around trees,
under the lift.
under the lift, and then through a bunch of trees, like single track.
It was pretty cool.
So is it all chewed up by the time you guys all run, or do you have is it wide enough to where you can each get a little bit of
Yeah.
snow?
yeah, it stayed
I-
pretty fresh.
So
That run
where the
stayed
first
pretty
guy just
fresh.
doesn't own it.
Right.
Yeah,
Because there was only like 20 guys that were in that
Yep,
class.
20 guys. Yeah, it depends. The course changes a lot throughout the runs. Like
Yeah.
sometimes the first guy's kind of screwed, and then by like the 3rd or 4th, there's good traction, and then by like the 7th or 8th, the traction could be gone.
Right.
So
Or vice versa.
yeah,
It's
Sometimes being first out.
a lot of variables.
yeah. Sometimes first out's
temperature.
good.
Depending on what the snow's like.
Yeah.
It can be
And-
sugar snow.
And
like
who breaks in the course.
yeah. That too.
You know, the first
It's nice to have a
people
track
up
to
it
follow.
can make it or break it.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean? Like, or
Yeah.
they could dig huge holes, and then that.
Oh yeah, if
snowballs
someone
off.
gets stuck right in front of you,
Right.
they're creating like this big bomb hole.
Right.
That you've got
You
to
got to
smash
find, navigate
through.
your way around it or smash through
Or
it.
going
Yeah.
slow through it and trenching it out. It's like breaking in a motocross track. You want the pros to go develop the lines.
Yeah.
So it's
So the
actual
ruts are
proper,
straight out
proper
and-
line. Yeah. So that it depends on who's out first.
So is the semi-pro class doing its job? Like are we getting enough up-and-coming guys to keep the sport thriving and keep entries up? And
I think so. A lot
Keep
of
it
times
going.
they have 2 heats because there's so many guys.
Yeah.
because
I think so.
you look back at like RMX CRC and Mountain West Racing, like that snowcross in the West has gone away,
Yeah.
and it's because nobody came in and raced after all
Yeah.
those,
The older
Rick
guys.
Ward era and all that stuff. Yeah.
I think, yeah, I think there's quite an abundance of young guys. I mean, they've got 2 junior classes, and now it always was just 1 junior class. Now they're trying to get a little bit more, which is good.
Juniors and amateurs.
Amateur class, for sure.
It sure seems like there's a lot of them.
There is, and that's something too. I think Rimshaw's. I think they understand it and they're working on it. All of us are, but creating incentive to get those guys to bump up too.
So let me ask you that. So is there like a points tier? Like, can you point out of semi-pro?
Yeah, there is. I can't remember if it's like you win 2 points championships, you have to bump. There is something there. I can't remember the exact rule, but there is something.
If you accumulate a certain amount of points, or can you just ride semi-pro for the rest of your life?
You could if you weren't winning, but yeah, I think there's something with like winning. If you win so much, like a season-wise, like as far as points championships, so many years, then you have to bump.
And the incentive is, unless you're in pro, you're not making OEM contingency money, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we got to figure out is how to create that drive to where, go getting semi-pro or starting junior semi-pro, but then, what's the incentive to bump up? Right now it's like, well, the racing's gnarly, the competition's really pretty brutal, but that kind of deters those guys. They want to stay down as low as they can, and that's why I think other things.
Sandbaggers.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, and you guys are all factory guys, right?
Yeah.
So you're racing factory's equipment, but what's the difference between that and just like some factory support? Because you're buying sleds at the race price, you're getting some contingency if you're placing high enough, and then you're getting some support with clothing and parts and everything, but still a high out-of-pocket cost, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's expensive.
But you got to start somewhere. That's where we all started.
Privateer.
That's what you do.
Privateer motocrossers go through the same thing, but the goal is to get to that factory ride.
Yeah, you prove yourself. You start getting a little more support. You start meeting the right people. You get linked with the right sponsors and build those relationships, and you keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So what would you guys tell either yourselves, 10 years ago, or somebody else? You work with some younger guys, all of you. What advice would you give somebody that is starting in Rimshaw or looking at Rimshaw like, how do I do that?
Go get a feel for it. Like if you're going to just get into it, whatever your riding abilities are, you feel, however a guy is, start, say, semi-pro. But like my advice to guys when I tell them is, ride semi-pro for a year, get the feel for it, and if you're doing pretty good, bump up. Because you can only be as fast as the guys you're racing ultimately. That's how it was like with motocross when I raced moto was, you could be in the B class all you want, but then you start winning the B class, and that's about where you stop.
That's how fast you are.
Yeah, and now, then you bump to pro, you might get your butt kicked for a while, but you're going to start figuring it out. Anybody that's an athlete or wants, competitive, well, how do I get better? I got to start hanging with these guys, and they improve significantly faster. And that's my advice, is get there, learn it, but try to race the fast guys.
Don't stay comfortable.
Yeah.
Be uncomfortable.
Yeah. Don't settle.
Progression never happens when you're comfortable.
For sure.
So
that's one of the really unique parts about Rimshaw too, though. Like there is a lot of support in Rimshaw from the manufacturers, from sponsors. I raced the whole summer of hard enduro on dirt bikes this summer, but you get third place finish, you're in one class. You have an opportunity to make cash in one class, and you get third place or something, and you get like $500.
Yeah,
so I just raced for 4 hours and make $500.
I traveled 2,000 miles to get here.
Where Jackson Hole, you win Stock King, that's $10K.
Yeah,
and then you have four more chances,
and you can go do it 2 more times.
Yeah, and you have 8-9 potential ways to make money in Jackson.
Which you've done that.
Once or twice.
That's good.
Once or twice.
Will you tell us your biggest paycheck from Jackson?
Yeah.
Jackson, I've walked away with 30 plus.
Damn.
Several times.
Yeah, more than once.
So that'd be ideal.
Good money.
If you could do Jackson, if you could repeat Jackson's model.
Yeah.
2 or 3 times.
5 Jacksons or 4 Jacksons. Even.
It would be amazing. Yeah.
That would change the whole industry as far as
it's all about finding proper venues. No matter what you're doing, and motocross, hard enduro, snowmobile, you got to find those
and marketing
solid venues.
Marketing it, putting up numbers, motocross has millions of views. I'm not saying trying to get millions, but a couple 100,000 views on YouTube, Facebook, whatever. That's something to go to sponsors with,
so this
or
is
money for to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Rimshaw has had some races like Lost Trail. I think you've had some races that could get a lot of, maybe not in-person spectators, but get a lot of views.
But,
but the program isn't there to capture that.
we have those tools to get out to the public. Like, that's what we do as ambassadors and athletes is
To our own
social media.
platforms.
Yeah.
Recap videos.
Yep.
It's got to happen.
I think it'd
All
be
of
huge.
Big, just highlights, man.
All of
People
it,
love
man.
that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. They don't want to sit there for 8 hours. Like, we're on this live stream, which is great. I think it's a good thing to keep because people can pop in, they can watch their buddies, their favorite racers, But yeah, we've got to have some sort of a boom,
Legit,
a bomb shot at it.
full-on,
Yeah.
edited recap.
Because people don't want to sit there 8 hours. They want to watch 15, 20 minutes of awesomeness.
Yep.
They don't want to watch 8 hours to see, oh, there's the wreck. There's a cool run. They lose interest fast, and that's the curve we got to go to. And better. It all comes down to better venues and involvement of everybody, more people.
I'm stoked we're kind of spreading out a little bit too. A lot of the times we have too many races in one centralized area, which makes it easy for racers.
Yeah.
But it doesn't grow our sport.
I stayed
So
at my
least-
house for 3 races
which
last
is
year.
total shit.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts.
you got
I just
your
like
Montana guys and your Colorado guys are like,
Yeah.
why are we just racing Swamp Valley or Star
And
Valley?
Washington.
Yeah,
Oh
I mean,
my
let's
gosh,
go to Oregon.
Tapio's
Let's go to
gotta drive
Washington.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And it makes it a little tougher on racers, especially with fuel costs and stuff like that. But I mean, it's still going to help grow the sport. It's going to grow our following. We're going to have more fun, and we get to reach and ride new areas, which I think it's all about.
Yeah,
I mean,
as that grows, it'll get easier to do that and more affordable. And it all comes back,
Yeah.
And that was a conversation, like, when I first got on the rim shot board, they're like, oh, we're going to have these races and this, that. There's an option way out here, or maybe an option way over here. And I'm like, let's go. They're like, well, it's so far for these guys. I'm like, man, ice hockey, like snowcross, they travel the country, it is bigger. It's, it's just like, it's easier for them to make a show of that. It really is. There's a main event style thing, really easy. But I was like, we have to venture out. If we want to grow, we have to go. And the people that want to race, they're still going to go. We could have a race in Maine,
It's not a race
and they'll
that's
go.
easy for Tapios to get to.
No.
Oh,
Right.
Jeez. Those guys put in some seat time.
Miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like if we just get into some new demographics, it's really going to help us out. But I mean, this year, if we got the one new Colorado race, potentially Bear Valley in California, and then Lookout. So at least we got 3 new potential races that hopefully happen.
Could happen.
And have good snow history as well.
Yeah.
We want to get new venues with a good snow history. Which early season, you pretty much got to be west of the divide.
Yeah. And part of the problem too is there's not very many other Jackson bowls that have a flipping steep
Right in
hill
downtown.
right there downtown. Yeah.
That's so special about Jackson.
You just can't get that vibe anywhere else.
You could sit at the Cowboy Bar, the people can, and watch the hill climb.
Yeah.
That's what's
Walk to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all so close.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I know you guys got places to go. You got autographs to go sign, and
We could talk
people to
about
go
this all
see.
day.
I know we could.
I haven't signed a single autograph.
Loser.
Hey,
I
we
finally
haven't heard Blaine's peak moment at Jackson.
Or
we
mine, I
skipped
guess.
him.
I didn't get the question.
Oh, yeah.
Mine
okay.
was
Yeah. Oh, let's go back to you.
2018 Open Mod.
All right. Take us through that one.
Winning that, like Andy said, the run felt flawless. It felt like that. And I sat up and watched. Dude, it was cool watching you come up. All you guys. I was like pretty far early in the class. So I was sitting up there, clenching. And you were like last or close to last. And I don't know what happened. You still made it, but you had a bobble one time in your life. And I won it, and it was freaking.
There's that feeling.
Oh my God.
Well, there's that feeling, and then there's the I beat Keith feeling.
There is
Yeah.
like two
There's
feelings.
That's-
two feelings in
that's
play
definitely-
there, right?
You want to win, but when you go beat this guy that's so good,
Right.
you're just like 2 accomplishments won. Like, you're like,
Yeah, when
feels
you win
so
a
good.
class, it's cool, but when you win like
A class
open
in
mod,
Keith's
the biggest,
division.
like gnarliest class, that's
Open mod it's rowdy, huh?
Yeah,
that's
Nine mod and
like
open
the
mod, I think, are the
all
two
the
biggest
fastest
classes.
guys,
Mentality's
the fastest
kind of
sleds.
leave it all out there too.
Yeah.
So
It's the
there's
best.
sleeper guys in the like open mod finals that
It's
made
like
it in
45 guys,
Yeah. We had a lot of times it was in the 40s.
2 heats.
there. Yeah, 2
Yeah.
heats open mod, and they take 16 or 12 to the finals, and
Yeah.
so it gets rowdy.
Yeah.
Do you guys wish we were still in the era of like custom building tube frame, like
No.
straight up open mod
I mean,
stuff?
that's cool, but factory mods are
Yes,
I don't want to build all
to
those
race.
snowmobiles.
To race.
It's cool how good the snowmobiles come from factory.
And that's something to mention too. Like people wanting to get into rimshaw, you don't have to do a whole lot to a snowmobile anymore.
Not anymore. No.
Like stock and improved,
yeah.
don't got to do a whole lot.
Put some traction in,
Snow
suspension.
flap,
Or even
tether, traction,
Yeah,
snow
the
flap.
factory turbos, a guy can buy one.
A
of those, go
turbo, you
race
can
it
buy a
on.
turbo and get a tune,
Right.
and you're pretty close. And
Yeah.
get your shocks revalved. Like that's really the barrier to entry for that is not
Yep.
anything.
Yeah,
Really.
it's cool having a fully built mod, but I think we all would rather spend more time on the mountain than in the shop.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we like being out.
Those old timers, man, they put in some serious time
yeah.
building
And
snowmobiles.
it's impressive.
total
and You gotta
fabricators.
respect that. Like the stuff they built was art.
Yeah,
It's super.
yeah.
from the ground up.
So who had the biggest impact on each of you, like from that era, from the
man.
Wranglers and the Camel tie-on bib number and everything? Like,
Rick Ward for me.
Yeah.
why is that? I mean, it's obvious, but
Yeah, I mean, I guess I went to Jackson 04, 05, just went to watch one year, and like I just remember him just coasting, basically floating up the mountain like we're all talking about. You have those runs, and Rick was always good about just getting out of the rut and just picking his new line and just making his way through there. But also, super world-class guy, super nice, and a guy that everyone looked up to and won a lot. I mean, he won a lot in his day.
and he was good at like talking to you and like
Yeah.
coaching
Personable.
and explaining and helping out like anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Mine kind of goes a little bit Kyle Tapio too, in a way. Like when I remember when I was young, before I raced, and when Tapios were there, when all three of them were there, and all three of those guys were a force to be reckoned with, especially when it come to the mod class.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the era of the turbos showing up.
The new
You know, and
turbos. Yeah.
like when I was a kid, I geeked out over the custom built from ground up like tube chassis. Those were just insane. But like when I was younger watching hill climbs before I got into it or was able to race, watching Kyle at Jackson was like, man, I want to do that, because that guy was just always so
Smooth.
there's nothing to lose. Let's go to the top as fast as we can. And that's what we talked about, where he would just nuke through stuff where it might take a guy 10, 15 seconds to get through those 4 gates, and he was getting there in like 3, like just.
You can tell he plays hockey, huh? That's what he does in his off time.
He does?
Plays hockey.
Dudes are gnarly,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
for sure.
You can just see it now, though, right?
Yeah.
What does hockey have to do with that?
I don't know, just cross train.
Rough.
They're
I don't get
just
it.
Hockey?
brutes.
Yeah, hockey.
Is that why you
know.
play ping
It's rowdy.
pong?
I do a lot of people. No, I don't play a lot, but
You don't?
I'll throw down.
He'll play if
about
he knows he
golf?
can win.
I like golf.
Yeah, little golf. I've probably played like 5-6 times this year.
We should play.
Yeah.
I bet I
Hard,
could kick
though.
your ass at golf. That's one thing I'll.
How much you play?
We need to
I
get
live
together
on
more on
Forest
that
Star
stuff.
Valley.
You probably would kick my ass.
I've been geeking out on golf.
Have you?
Yeah.
I
I'm
would
an
not
old man
beat
sport,
anybody
though.
at golf.
I love it. But we can do that when we're like 80.
True.
You remember though the spring rides we were doing where we would meet in Star Valley?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to do
You
that
guys would
again.
dick around in golf, and then we'd go ride dirt bikes, then go snowmobile.
That was
Yeah. We need to
We
do
need-
more of that.
We do need to do more of that, but everybody's got side hustles and jobs and kids, and
Yeah. Life is.
it was an era.
Well,
man.
these
That-
guys
that was
don't have
fun.
kids. Not yet.
No, just you.
We'll just look at
We
yours.
thought that was going to slow him down. I think it made him faster.
It
I
did.
think so too.
He's got to buy diapers, and it's like,
Oh,
great.
it's 37 cents a pop.
That's what I realized when I was asking you guys, like who from that old era, but like none of you guys were from that old era. Like
Yeah.
Right.
I'm way older than you guys, I guess.
Yeah.
I remember Shepard, like just Dave Shepard.
Dave Shepherd.
smoked
He's-
that hill.
yeah.
Like, he was so damn fast at that thing.
Watching those videos
Fast
is
and
pretty cool.
smooth.
That
Yeah.
that would have been cool to see.
And he came. This is
Oh,
back in the day when you went over the top,
Up the
like
chute,
straight
yep.
up the chute. And
I didn't get a chance to watch him either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
videos.
watching him. I was on the chairlift at the exact right moment.
Oh.
He came smoking up that chute, and there was a shed, right?
Yeah.
So you come up
Did he
over the
hit it?
top, hit the shed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just in the air, up over the top on his open mod.
Hell yeah.
And just plonk right into that shed.
And won.
I mean, it was insane. Yeah, and that's like
Yeah.
that's like one of those moments. Like just thinking about it, like gives me
Legendary.
goosebumps.
Yeah.
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 One for the books.
Yeah.
Let's have more of those moments.
Yeah.
Side note, we could go over the top now too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Top.
Yeah, that
That
is cool about
exhibition.
Wolverine. Yeah.
Exhibition.
Exhibition,
No.
you could go up.
They got
'cause
rid of
widened
that
That's
stage.
right. Yeah, they got all that.
Yeah.
Which
Could
it's
go
not
over.
the
That'll be cool.
It's not the shoot, but still be.
And they're building that bar up there. and you would be like front porch going by that bar.
Yeah,
I'd
so if
love
they
it.
put that observatory, though, are they still going to allow you to go over the top?
I don't know.
I don't think it's gonna. I don't know.
Who
It'd be
knows?
scary not to now, because on exhibition where like we would stop in the cat track, like that's all open now, and that cat track's there but kind of not. And there's no trees or nothing there on that side. Like you would want to go over the top. Yeah, you stopped and parked, I think you'd just be crashed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd want to keep that momentum.
We
Be a good
climb,
spectator point.
We don't climb hills to not go to the top.
Yeah.
That's good point. He'll climb it. Well, all right, so Jay, who's your guy?
Probably Rick or Vinnie Clark.
Oh, yeah.
Vinnie Clark was cool.
That was a good one.
He was a beast.
Yeah, I mean, Skidoo rider, so I'm a little biased, but just kind of the fact that he was Canadian too, and like he had a pretty gangster program where he kept all his sleds and stuff in actually Star Valley, and had a mechanic there, and then I think he flew a lot, but just kind of that program was kind of cool to see, and
Went after.
he had really cool sleds, badass sleds, so.
And that was back in the day when there was a Canadian circuit.
Yep.
And those guys there's very little crossover. But Jackson was always cool because it was like having Antonio Caroli come over to the
Yeah.
Nationals. It's like now we get to see everybody come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of fun part about Jackson too. We got the higher end snowmobile celebrities that show up, right? Kind of wild cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
Brant.
Like Andreas showing up last year.
Like
one of the
Brant
gnarliest dudes.
Yep.
when he rolled into the fence.
Mm-hmm.
Were you there?
He was talking about that this morning.
Was he cool?
He's like, yeah, I tried hill climbing a couple times, and I like, nope, this isn't for me.
Which is cool for us to
Yeah.
say that like some of the world's greatest sledders
Yep.
can't really do
Yeah.
what we do in a sense.
Yeah, we get at our craft.
Yeah.
Brett
it, yeah.
Turcott shows up. I
Yeah,
mean, who
and-
else? There's
Emil,
Andrews,
Yep.
Mark.
Yep.
Andreas, Emil,
Emil, yeah.
Yeah.
He was fast.
Yeah, he was.
He had
he's
potential.
ripping.
he rips.
Yeah,
There's
they
always-
used to divide all the pro snowcrossers up and do that.
Yeah.
Chris Vincent would come do it. Jesse Strege would come do it.
The hill climbs?
Yeah,
Cool.
like way back in the day.
We should do that too, more of that.
You guys remember watching that run? Was it was it Parker
Yeah, Parker from
Bond ran essentially Jackson?
yeah.
What the heck's his last-
Parker Brown.
Brown. That the fastest time over Jackson.
Yeah.
And you look at the course. I mean, obviously it was just
Right.
straight, but it was a big snow year, and them old mods. It was the first few years of the turbos, and like you watch that video, and he looks like he's going 150 miles an hour because the suspensions don't work like they do now. And he just blitzed from the starting line, and he catches a bump. That sled just boom and flies through the air, and still never lifts. And then you watch it now, and we're probably going a little faster, but it looks slower because it's smooth.
Smoother.
The technology's made it insane. But that video was kind of cool watching him rip over that because it was just blitz.
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
your
Checkers
guy,
and
Andy?
wreckers.
I seems like I started paying attention to it right when I started racing, but so sorry, Keith, you're kind of old, but you were kind of that guy for me, of like just seeing a whole new level of something I've never known.
Yeah.
But also Darren Gould. Darren
Yeah.
Gould was huge, and he still is a huge mentor for me, and someone I looked up to as like, I imagine. I wasn't around, but I imagine Darren helping anybody, any brand, change motors all night long and then racing. And Darren did really well too. He won a lot too, and so Darren's just probably one of the best guys I know. So I think it'd be him.
He's our team captain, so he does a lot for our team.
He does a lot for our team and other teams. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't say no to helping anybody.
Mm-hmm. And for
I
the
think
sport.
that's cool.
Always friendly
Yeah.
to anyone,
I think he'd help you guys if
Oh
you
yeah.
needed it.
He
Yeah.
has.
He'd be right in your trailer helping you,
Yeah.
Yep.
even though
really
we're trying to
good
beat you. Like
Yeah.
A lot of good people in Rimshaw.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It is. It is.
Good
It's
people in
kind of
the
that grassroots Western feel.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like.
Just the snowmobile industry in general, though, right? There's
Yeah.
like so many people.
Yeah, just like being here at
Pretty cool
Heydays. Like, there's not really very many fights. Everybody here is like,
No drama.
it's I mean, we're all different, but snowmobile industry is pretty good.
Everybody's happy, excited.
Yeah.
Always the hype's always good. Man, you're so excited for winter. Yeah, you.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. Just rolls through about anything snowmobiling.
Well, we get a reset every year.
Yeah.
Like all these other sports, they don't reset.
Yeah,
they get like a short off season, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not like this full clear your mind, go do something completely
Yeah.
different reset.
Yeah.
Boom.
I don't know how the moto guys do it. Just like year-round moto.
I know. I would get so tired
I'd
of
get
it.
jaded. Yeah.
By the time moto season ends, I'm like over dirt biking. By the time snowmobile season ends, I'm over snowmobiling.
It's a
So
good
it's so
balance.
nice to like swap into these
Yeah.
seasons and like
Yeah.
keep rolling.
And you're so pumped for the next season
Yeah.
when you're done with one.
Yeah, you posted the video last night, like of our first ride in mid-December
Yeah.
or whatever. I'm like, oh, man, I want to get back in that
I
zone.
know. I'm so pumped for that.
Need to bring Blaine back into.
Yeah, that
Can
was
I
again,
come?
too.
I'm
Oof.
gonna bring a turbo.
We can bring
this
you in
year.
there. We'll bring you in there, Mentaberry.
The NA staying home.
Me
this
and
year.
Cole were on turbos, and it was a disaster.
Oh, dude. It was a disaster on NA, too. They just kept going. Like, they're like, all right, we're going here. And I'm like, man. Yeah, like, I had to work at it. I got there, crashed a few times, you know. These guys would go first with their turbos.
Screw
and
it all up.
Take all the snow and just be going 100 miles an hour. And I'd just be crawling on the NA, you know, over rocks and ledges and trees.
Yeah, all of
And
us
they're-
on turbos now. Oh,
It's going to, yeah.
gnarly
Talk about
days.
getting into rowdy terrain, huh?
Yeah.
So talk about that for a minute, because that is an interesting aspect. Like,
Well, one thing that was big for us, I went up and rode with Keith up in Montana, and with the new 7S gauge, like I was able to watch where he was going and still be able to pick my lines, and we were able to cover so much ground because I was watching my screen, and we were getting into some gnarly places.
Oh, man.
Then we were packing fuel in just so we could get out.
Or what? I mean, 15, 20 miles one direction into the mountains.
Yeah, and it's not very much trail. Like it's your side hill and the whole time ravines.
Came out in the dark.
Oh yeah, you're using all the daylight. all
And
the
we're
fuel.
dropping down in elevation and like, all right, guys, well, I mean, we can try drop down in the bottom. It's really fun climb out, but it's like, I don't know if there's quite enough snow.
Yeah, it was
I start
getting-
dropping down further and further and further and further, and I'm like, oh boy, we're getting ourselves into a hole now. But that's part of the thrill, right?
Yeah,
It's like
the adventure.
getting out of it and just like coming out in the dark and
Yep.
Yeah, well,
everyone just ripping through the creek, headlights coming out, and I mean,
Gas
getting your
gauges
brother
are
out of the
Yeah, his-
hole was something else.
His
and-
throttle kept sticking, and we were,
Jeez.
dude, we drove all night long to get there, so we were just smoked anyways, so worn out.
Yeah, we got to all get back in there.
But the
this year.
cool thing is like all of us could go do that together, and we'd have a blast. Different factories, different programs.
that's the fun part.
And that's
Yeah.
what people want to see. You know, like, you know, we're all trying to do our jobs. We're trying to market our brands and push it. But, you know, and the factories get that. You know, they understand the aspect of, well, you know, we can't tell our buddies we're not riding with them because they're on a Polaris or they're on Arctic Cat or on Skidoo. But, you know, the days where, like, we all get together and it's cross-branded, I feel like it's just so much more epic.
That's
We
real
love
life
that.
too.
Yeah, and the people watching are just like, man, this is insane.
Yeah.
These guys are crazy.
well, like back in the early days of social media, when you had Dan and Chris, and you had a handful of like when the athletes were just kind of starting out.
Yeah.
And we would go do these group rides, and you guys were all posting each other on your feeds and stuff, and like talking about each other. And then that just kind of went away. It got
Yeah.
really corporate.
Yeah, it did get kind of corporate, but we definitely like going together still.
It's
so.
fun, and it you know, and I hope everybody realizes that, yeah, you guys are the hill climb elite, but you guys are phenomenal backcountry riders, and you spend so much time on.
That's where we cross train.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that's it.
That's
training
why I
is riding.
snowmobile at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's what
Racing-
got us into snowmobiling.
Racing's great. I love it, but
Yeah.
I don't ride sleds to race.
So y'all have factory turbos now, like as your backcountry sleds, and I know you're not doing a whole lot to them. Part of it's the ambassador aspect of it, but part of it is that you don't need to.
Yeah, there's
Yeah. They're amazing.
capabilities. You know, it's even like a 600 now. Like people are like, I gotta have an 850 turbo. Does that person need it? No, it's more the want in this industry. You gotta have the coolest stuff out there. But you can go ride a 600, and to ride it to its full capabilities is pretty hard.
Yeah.
Like these sleds are nuts. And then a turbo. You know, I don't think it's possible to ride a turbo to its capabilities.
A perfect running turbo.
Yeah, like
Every time.
Yeah.
you'd just be
It's-
dead.
Yeah.
Because places they'll take you now is so bizarre. That's that day we went riding. I was like, pretty stoked. I'm like, man, that NA just went some places that, you know, I'm not gonna go pick them probably every day on a just.
He's poaching our turbo tracks.
Oh gosh.
And I remember him just, I'm videoing from above this like waterfall, ice waterfall thing in this big ledge. And me and Sam had gone through it and trenched it out already. So we saw Blaine just booking it through the trees, coming up to it, and he just hits it and goes sideways and just bombs it right into this tree, and
that
we're all
branch
just hooting and
literally ripped me
hollering.
right off my sled, and thank goodness the tree was there, and it was kind of hard to get it out of there.
Oh, it was really tough.
But
yeah.
otherwise, it was just like off cliffs ledges into trees and ice waterfalls and.
It's like there's levels: level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, and it's going up. Super fun, and coming down is so fun too.
They tell us we're going right here. Keith's like, yeah, there's like 5 levels. And we go for a minute, and I'm thinking, oh, we're probably getting close. We stop, and he's like, well, that was level 1. I'm like, oh, there's 5 of these? Like, are you
And
kidding
it
me?
gets steeper?
Oh, gnarlier.
What?
But then it was like, all of a sudden, you're like, you passed the test up here. Like, it was like,
Stamp
wow.
of approval.
Yeah. Bulk. It was cool. Rowdy stuff right there.
Those are the
Looking
best
forward to
days.
that.
We never forget those days. That's what I feel
Yeah,
like
we need to do that.
our first ride was last year. And you only get a few a year, it seems like. but
Yeah.
We need to make it happen so much more.
It's tough to get everybody together on the same day.
It
We're all so
is.
busy, strung out, doing this or that, and then those days that we all
Early
ride
season.
together really do stick with you.
So much fun.
Pretty epic.
And that's the downside. I mean, you only got a 3-month window, right?
Yeah.
To get to all this
So
stuff
much
that you
stuff.
want.
Especially before race season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
really
to
starts,
build
you know.
sleds.
Yeah.
like, get sleds, build them, make them perfect, train.
Practice, this
Yeah.
and that.
Yeah.
And then
Then go ride.
life
fun days,
outside
essentially.
that.
Yeah.
kids, bills, work, all of it.
More money, more problems.
That's right.
That's another conversation.
You haven't hit that. You haven't had that 30K.
I haven't had that problem yet.
All right. Well, we got to cut it off there. All right. Again, thanks, guys. This is the kind of stuff we're going to try to keep going.
Yeah, this is
on
awesome.
our podcast. Is just getting all you guys together because y'all hang out together, y'all ride together, you race each other, but like you said, this industry, like you come to Heydays and this is where you see your friends and you see your family.
All your sled friends, which are your only friends, really.
Yeah.
Mine, anyway. I don't associate
true.
with people that don't snowboard.
All right. All right. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Hey, thank you.
Later.
Ryan.
Thanks for listening, and thank you to our show sponsors. Can't get enough sledding content? Subscribe to SnoWest magazine at snowwest.com and get 7 issues from September through March. Try our awesome new vertical digital format or get magazines mailed to your door. And subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest sled reviews, interviews, and more.